Well, today's episode, I'll give you a quick look at Maverick. I'm going to drain some of the differential fluids there. And I may or may not bring in this one. This is a customer out of Mississippi has brought this to us. And we're going to be putting an Eibach lift on it. Eibach lift is here. Wheels and tires are ordered. So I'll be going through a lot of what's going on with these two. And then I'm going to break down a little bit of how you can add to your bottom line of how we even got into car sales to begin with. And again, yours doesn't have to go this route to where you own a dealership, but it can definitely, it can help you out long term of adding to your bottom line. So stay tuned. And I wanted to say very, very thankful for all of you that have reached out saying that you were thinking about my grandmother. We did find out it's the condition is not removable or fixable. They did as much as they could, but she went through the surgery well. She's recovering, doing well, and hopefully gets to come home by the weekend. Stinking COVID. We've had to deal with it in my own family, several of us. So my two aunts that are going to be her biggest caregivers are going to go ahead and get their vaccine so they can be around her. But anyway, I wanted to say thank you for those of you who said that you were thinking about her, praying for her. Very thoughtful, and thank you for that. Well, it got dark. It's hard to film under there showing you the rest of the differentials, but clean, fresh fluids in Maverick's differentials. Mr. Steven wanted to name her that, and or him that, rather. I'll get it right in a minute. Something to consider. I want to go into some things that will help people long-term on their car buying, and what we see a lot of, and why I can't put people in a car a lot of times, and hopefully that will help you to not be in that same boat. But I want to hop into, what's up, Key Cat? I do want to hop into a little bit of how you can add to your bottom line and how I really got into car sales to begin with. The way I really got into cars in general, got a buddy that has a Ducati Monster 1100 Evo. If you know anything about motorcycles, that's a pretty fast one. You'll get on down the road. Well, I straighten out a curve on it rather. And as you can imagine, the cat has found its way onto my stool and just sitting on the bottom of it, letting me roll him around. Anyway, as you can imagine, Ducati is Italian, and Ducati Red is very expensive to replace. So let's just say that it cost me quite a bit to fix this bike, because I wasn't going to let him charge his insurance with it because I did it. But at the time, did we have kids? I think we did. I think Tiff and I had our oldest at the time. Anyway, and a buddy of mine convinced me. He said, "Hey, you can make some money just flipping a car too." He said, "That's what I do," and he only deals in Toyotas. And I'm going to break down a little bit of that on what's the best resale. Maybe I can do that on my next video on your best overall retention on your resale value. of what vehicles are going to do that for you. But he only deals in Toyotas. And at the time, my wife was driving a Mazda Tribute, which is kind of like a Ford Escape, just a small SUV, which is fine and dandy. So it was paid off, and we were, what were we buying her? I don't even remember what I bought her next, but it was paid off. So I said, you know what, I'll sell it. I'll use part of that money to pay for this repair on this Ducati, and we'll just go from there. Well, that money was really easy to get. I just posted it on Facebook, car sold, boom. And I think I got back, well, no. That was part of the kicker, is I could get maybe half of what I had paid for that vehicle in retail value, and we'd only had it for a couple of years. And so that got me to thinking, and talking with Colby a little more got me to looking at the numbers. And so I had lost, several $1,000s over the time frame of a couple of years. So I bought something again. I think maybe it was I'll get into that story later, but an FJ Cruiser. It was a two-wheel drive. Don't buy a two-wheel drive FJ Cruiser. Anyway, beside the point. Made some money on it and decided, hey, I'll buy something else. And I'll sell it too. Check your state, but your state, in the state of Alabama, I can do 5 without a dealer's license in my name a year, and I can do 5 in my wife's name, so that was 10 a year. So got a handy dandy little board here. So with us, it was 10 a year. So let's say I buy, this, and I'm hoping you can see all this. Let's say I buy, is this going to be reversed on you? Hold on. It's not. I just wanted to make sure. So let's say I buy, all right, so let's say I buy, let's be conservative here, buy a decent truck. It's still even going to be hard to find a $15,000 truck. And I drive that truck for 5 years, and I'm able to sell it for $8,000. So I spent $7,000 in depreciation over, and I hope you can read my writing, it's terrible. I am not a calligraphy artist at all. So I depreciated $7,000. So my bottom line went down $7,000 to drive that truck for that amount of time. So let's say I repeat that process, and let's even do it with, say you bought a nearly new truck, $50,000. And you kept that truck for, 10 years. A lot of people keep them 10 years. So a 10-year-old truck now would be a 2010 model. 2010 models are going somewhere around, let's say 12 G's. So I lost in depreciation $38,000. It cost me over 10 years $3,800 a year to drive that truck. Let's go back up to what I started with and how I looked at it. Let's say I only did, let's take out 10. 10's the max you can do in the state of Alabama without a license. Let's say I just did 3. All right, I bought me a Tacoma, and I drove it for, let's say, 3 months, and I sold it. The problem here is you can't pay full retail. You've got to get good deals. You may have to message 100 people before you get the price that you need to pay for a vehicle to be able to make some money on it. You need to know the market a little bit, so it's going to take some time investing, but it's doable. So I bought a Tacoma for 10, drive it for 3 months, sell it for 12. So my bottom line is now a positive $2,000. All right, cool. Let's say that I found another, let's say I bought a Sequoia. Yes, I like Toyota products, okay? Lexus is a Toyota. If you didn't know that, that's just the luxury. Literally, this is a 4Runner with a Lexus badge, okay? You're getting the same thing, but it's just a nicer version. So I'm a big Toyota Lexus fan. So I buy a Sequoia, and I did this. Let's say I bought it for, I think I bought it for like $7,800, sold it for 10, so we were to the good $2,200 more. So now we're up $4,200. Okay, so that's our new bottom line is now up. Maybe that's in your savings account. Maybe you're paying off some debt. Whatever you're doing with that money, don't waste it. Always be investing some way, somehow. I use Acorns to save with. Why? Because instead of a normal savings account not making me anything, this is a savings account that has so far given me a 6% return. Pretty solid for a savings account. And then my third vehicle for that year, let's say, what did I buy after the Sequoia? I don't remember. Let's just make one up at this point. Say it's a 4Runner. So now the 4Runner. Now this is where it's hard because you can't hardly find a 4Runner that you can make money on right now. They're all top line. It's kind of like the GX470. They're just hard to find right now. So you may have to not search for a Toyota. You may have to find something else. Let's say I drove this one for 6 months and just broke even. So my net loss was 0. I didn't lose anything. I didn't make anything. So at the end of this year, I'm looking at a positive $4,200 over, and let's say I can repeat that for those same 10 years that I was talking about for that $50,000 truck. 10 years, 4,200 becomes 42,000. So instead of being down $38,000, I'm up a positive 42, and I also take into account that 38. I'm positive $80,000 over 10 years that I would not otherwise have. I would otherwise be down. My bottom net line of money I have available to me would be $38,000 less. But now if I repeat just this process, just 3 a year, and I can keep these margins, and granted, you're not always going to get these margins. Most of the time with our dealership, I might make $1,000 per vehicle, maybe. Sometimes I lose. That Sequoia that you guys see me working on, I'm probably going to lose my tail on. We'll get into that more. But these numbers add up quickly. So you don't have to own a dealership. Now, it molded into what we currently have. I started selling too many of them. We own a 24-hour gym. So I already had a place. I already had parking. I already had a retail location. All I had to do was put up a sign, get the insurance and the bonds and everything that I need. And my salesman, Roger, I need to let y'all meet Roger. Roger's awesome. But Roger's 73, so he's been with us for 3 years now. So he was 70 at the time. The gym is 7 years deep. So he would have been about 66 when he started with us at the gym. And Lowe's was cutting him loose about the time I had to make a decision on, am I going to start a full-time dealership or not? And so Roger found himself with a new job. And the rest is history. We've been successful for 3 years now, so that's been awesome. But that's just a way you can kind of make some money for yourself at the end of the day. How did we find them? You got to be on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. I get it. Craigslist is now a bunch of scammers. It's a little better now because they made you pay $5 per listing now, where it used to be it was free and all the scammers would get on there. I would have fun with them. Like, I could have a whole channel full of the fun I had with scammers, but anyway, just wasting their time. They'd get so mad. But you got to search, message. If somebody says that, and you know the market on, say you're looking at a 4Runner, and you know you could get easily $7,500 for that one. You got to have a good relationship with the credit union if you have credit unions in your state, or your bank, or cash. I always used credit unions. I still have to use them, unfortunately. It's just part of it. But get a good relationship to where you can use them, and that way, if it is cash, you don't have to tie up your cash in a vehicle as much. Because if you're going to keep it for 3 months, sometimes you can get no payments for 3 months. You won't even have to make a payment on it. And their interest rate is so low, you're going to make that in the profit. But you got to message people. Know your market. If it's $7,500 and they're asking $65,000, maybe hit them at $6,000, maybe $55,000. Colby, he'd cut them. Like, man, he would cut them. I saw him. Oh, man. I saw one 4Runner. I guarantee it was a $40,000 4Runner. He walked away with it for like $27,000. I still don't know how he did that. Still don't know, because it's not like he was mean about it. He'd just ask him, hey, what will you take for that? And by golly, people would hit him with a low number. I don't understand it, because I can't always do that. And another thing to save you money, if you're going to trade into a dealership, at least kind of know what the vehicle's worth. So many times I see people go into these big dealers and just take whatever the dealer offers. And man, you're losing money. Case in point, a buddy brought in a Hummer H3. I said, I can give you about 5 for it. He said, well, let me check a couple other dealers. I said, man, go for it. Check them out. He went to a couple others and he came back. He said, yeah, I'm either going to sell it for myself or let you buy it. I said, what'd they offer you? I just want to know. $2,000. Well, nothing wrong with it. $2,000, and there's so many people that'll just take it. Say, all right, that's what it's worth. No, that's not what it's worth. Get the best deal for you. I'm a dealer. I still want you to do. I want to do right by you. I've got to make a living, but I ain't got to make a killing. Okay, so there's a difference there. I think my refrigerator out here is about to die. That or something's in it trying to get out. Shoot. Anyway, so know what your vehicle's worth when you go in for that trade so that you at least get a fair deal. Know what wholesale value is. I know I'm not going to give retail. It's just not going to happen. If you're watching this and you've got a GX that you want to sell at wholesale, I've got people that are lined up right now. I've got a list of people waiting to get GXs, so I'm trying. I am doing my best to get them. Speaking of, I got to make a phone call. But I know I'm rambling a lot tonight, but really, at the end of the day, you can put a lot more money in your pocket if you are willing to put in a little work messaging people on Facebook and Craigslist until somebody finally says yes to the price that you're willing to pay, and a price that you know you can at least, even if you drive it for a year and get your money back, you didn't lose in depreciation. And that, at the end of the day, not losing is gaining. So that's something you can do. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Hopefully that will make you some money and grow your bottom line and help you guys out long term. But I wanted to put that out there for today. So use it. If you make some money with it, let me know. It'd be awesome to see you grow in your own bottom line. And if it turns into a dealership like we did, so be it. Anyway, till next time, guys, God bless.